It's gonna take you like 4 years, man.
I think he's gonna be Edison on Friday too.
I think it's gonna take like 4 years. The way that COVID, my lungs burning like this. It took a long time to get that right.
Let me tell you something, my memory is shot. My memory is shot. In fact, I forgot, I saw this in Friday, I forgot what it was.
Oiga, estamos pasando súper mal. La familia le manda plata a nosotros y nosotros no podemos comer. Tenemos niños y sin pañales, mira. Ahora tengo que cruzar al lado mexicano con la plata mojada para poder ir a comprar algo para el niño. Y no tenemos nada ya. No podemos comer. Necesito ayuda con lo que está pasando con nosotros allá, porque tiene muchísimos niños, está llevando solamente los solteros y los niños que ha votado. Imagínate, en toda la institución siempre tiene posibilidad los niños y la mujer embarazada. Le deja a la mujer embarazada aparte y los niños están botados en el suelo. Imagínate, amigo. Tengo que ir a comprar comida a los niños.
Aguantamos mucho golpe, aguantamos mucho. Y nosotros sí hicimos un sacrificio para llegar acá en Estados Unidos para mantener nuestra familia. Yo personalmente tengo mi mamá, yo soy todo para mi mamá. Soy todo. Tengo que hacer todo para ella porque ella no puede hacer nada. No puede hacer nada. Y tengo mi vida, tengo una niña de 2 años. Tengo una señora y nosotros tenemos que comer porque somos humanos, no porque queremos, nadie no quiere dejar su país para ir a vivir en otro país, nadie no quiere hacerlo, no porque, bueno, levantamos un día, vamos por los Estados Unidos, no por eso que llegamos aquí para una vida mejor.
Moi-même, je suis quitté Haïti pour marcher parce que je suis chercher on démémio, parce que tout jeune Haïti là, nous te mettons fini études classiques, nous pas besoin de travail pour nous faire. Nous pas besoin de rien pour nous faire, c'est dans la rue nous laguer. Et c'est ça qui fait qu'il y a plus de monde dans la rue qu'à demander. Et c'est ça qui fait qu'il y a pile délinquants dans la rue. C'est parce que l'État paye nous pas penser pour nous. Si on te mette travail, nous ne pouvons pas passer misère dans notre pays. Si on te mette au moins factory, mettez travail pour nous, nous pas mandons pile. Parce que là, nous arrivons dans notre pays, travail nous pas fait la Haïti, c'est on a le fait.
We in DHS are securing additional transportation to accelerate the pace and increase the capacity of removal flights to Haiti and other destinations in the Western Hemisphere. We are communicating, as we have now for months, loudly and clearly, that irregular migration, the perilous journey, is not the journey to take. One risks one's life, the life of one's loved ones, for a mission that will not succeed.
Hey everyone, so we are back. We're back for today. Today is Wednesday, James, the 22nd. The 22nd, and we are, listen, I am, man, I don't know how to put it. Like, I know this is disturbed,
Pissed.
upset.
I'm sorry, I didn't say it like that, but I mean, it's disheartening, man. It's disgraceful. it's shameful. I can think of a bunch of adjectives to throw up in there, but it's disheartening, man, really, to see that the more this country, the more we change in life and grow older, the more these things start to seem to be the same. Like things just aren't changing in that particular arena. And it's kind of disgraceful to see what we just witnessed here, just in a small segment of video that we just watched, in watching, these people be, chased down by horses
and don't forget that they're being chased down on horses by American citizens who are tasked with protecting the community.
Right.
And I get it, right? I get the perception. Some people are going to say, well, they are protecting the community because they're protecting illegal immigrants from coming across the border. America has a rule or a law in place what we call asylum. Asylum simply says that when a person's trying to flee their country for risk of their lives or to, a whole bunch of different adjectives that for reasons why they can cross the border and claim asylum to get heard in court to see if they're allowed to stay. And they're not even getting access to that, man. They're not even getting access to what we call the fair system. Like, this reminded me of the movie Django, of how they treated slaves back in the day where, slaves, like where people set up on horses and they were abusing power, man. To me, this is abuse of power.
Of course. And, whether it's government agencies or vigilantes that are on horseback, the fact of the matter remains is that what we're witnessing is something that if it isn't, should be a crime against humanity, and definitely could be considered criminal acts.
Yeah.
And again, it looks black and white, or black versus white when you look at it, but I get it. It's not just a black and white thing. It's you talk about the Hispanic community and how a lot of the children that crossed the border, a lot of these people ended up being separated from their families and then put in cages. Now, technically, they're not black, but they are people of color just the same. So, and again, you're looking at something that we're dealing with people of color from another country coming in illegally. However, there are, like you mentioned before, us seeking asylum, and they are not getting the opportunity to seek it.
Yeah, and this is the thing about it. Like, I think we pointed out this earlier today. So one of the things that really bothered me about this is that there's a few different aspects of it. First off, we do have a law in place that says that when a person's trying to flee their country out of risk of their own lives, out of homelessness, out of famines, like they can't find food. We gotta remember what has happened to Haiti over the last couple of months. They've lost their president. The president was assassinated. And that threw the country into instability. We have COVID out here. That has thrown the country into instability. And then they just recently had an earthquake that has thrown the country into more instability. And it's crazy because their own government has asked America to not send the citizens back because of the issues they're having over there right now.
Right.
And the ones who did make it, I think it's about 80 to 90 people who did make it, they put back on a plane and immediately returned them back to Haiti. And the thing about it that's crazy is that no one's going to take that type of journey that we're watching these people take and risk their lives, and risk the lives of their children for nothing.
Right.
And that's heartbreaking. And for anything, we were talking about even recently how, like, when Mexicans were trying to cross the border, that was a dangerous trip for them as well, right? The babies were getting kidnapped. We seen the babies being put in cages, and we stood up and we said, no, that's not okay.
Right.
I want to see the outrage on this because this is not okay. It's not okay that we're able to take, I think I heard somebody on The View yesterday, I think it's Sunny Hostin from The View. She was talking about how we're able to take about 96,000 refugees from Afghanistan, which I agree with her. We need to take in because they did sacrifice their life. They did sacrifice their life for us and help us over there in that war. and we're bringing them over here. We're able to put a plan together for them. Why can't we put a plan together for 13,000 and 14,000 Haitians who are trying to flee for a better life for their family? What separates them from anybody else? Like, why is it that they're not getting the same privileges and rights that anybody else is given? And the reality is, America, we say that we're a nation of immigrants, right? All of us are immigrants. And I don't know where this has come from, this metaphor that if we're American, then we're better than. And anybody else, I don't know. This, for me, like, you can't look at this picture. Like, look at this picture. This is a person walking across water. I mean, and who knows what's in that water? There could be snakes in that water. There could be anything in that water. There could be anything in that water, right? And they're willing to put their life at risk with their child. Why? Because they can't go back to where they're coming from. And even people, some people say, well, how do you know they're not going to bring COVID into the country? First off, we have a whole bunch of people in this country who don't even want to take the vaccine.
Right, so let's not go there.
Let's not go there, right? And then we're sitting up here throwing away vaccines. So if we're throwing away vaccines, why can't we go to the border and vaccinate them before they realize them come here? Why can't we set up a camp where they can go and get their fair day in court to apply for asylum? These are asylum seekers. Look, these are people. At the end of the day, I don't care whether they're white, they're black, they're Hispanic, they're Asian, they're from Europe, they're from Russia. That's a human being.
Yes, at the end of the day. And then, and I'm all for justice and doing things the right legal way. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people outside of this country who don't get that opportunity to have justice in their life and be able to do things in a legal manner because they just financially, they are poor, their country is poor, and they just don't have the means to be able to do so. So if they can get out and seek asylum in the United States, in Canada, in Mexico, in Europe somewhere, and can get there, then there's the likelihood, of them being able to survive with their families becomes there's a greater chance of that taking place. But we here in the States have the idea that some Americans feel as if we can pick and choose who is allowed in this country when their forefathers, some of their forefathers had to sneak into the country, if you will.
Right.
And they didn't do it in a legal manner. You know what I'm saying?
Go back. I mean, if it's like, so my family is Bahamian by background, right? It goes back to my great-grandmother's mother, who was from the Bahamas, right? My great-grandfather was Scottish, white as snow, red hair, white as snow, red mustache, everything, right? He met my great-mother's mom, who was black as black, and from the Bahamas. Both of them were immigrants. You know what I'm saying? I come to America on the background of immigrants. Right. I mean, and the reality is that, like, if it had not been for the sacrifice they made in the route in which they took, I wouldn't be considered an American citizen today.
Right.
But we're supposed to be the land of opportunity. We're supposed to be a place where people can be able to dream of a better life for them and their families. But and Brian can bring us some of those pictures, like, how does me crossing the border to try to bring better life to my family, and this picture right here, somebody sitting on a horse and running me down on a horse, how does that make me feel like this is the country that stands for something better for my family?
Right. And I can only imagine that the individuals who were being chased down by men on horses are looking at that going, this is not what I expected. I could, which is the lesser of two evils, staying at home or dealing with this, and this right here, when you look at the images, that image, and you look at the faces of the men who are on horseback, it's very reminiscent of what you saw those, dare I say, slave catchers, if you will, that's the image that is generated in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Not that these people were slaves, but it's very reminiscent when you look at those pictures.
Told you, Django.
Then,
movie Django.
Yes, sir. And looking at that right there, you know, we only talk a couple hundred years difference,
I mean,
but the image is still there.
And this is the thing, from a Christian standpoint, right? I get the aspect of doing your job, right?
Yeah.
If you're if your job says you have to do this, but there has to be a fine line between what my job asked me to do and the values in which I was raised upon. I mean, there are things that I have been asked to do in my jobs before, but I completely said no, I cannot do because that just doesn't fit the values in which I was raised to do, right?
Right.
And there's some stupid things I've done in my life that didn't fit my values, but it was a choice I decided to make. I made that choice for myself.
Right.
I just, you know, and what tears me up is that, you know, the current administration got in the place they're in, got in the White House, got the House, got the Congress, got the U.S. Senate on the backs of people that look like this, black people. Help save Joe Biden's campaign, let's be honest, in South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Save his campaign. And for for the response to be back to us like, oh, we're looking at it. Or to have the Secretary of Homeland Security go down to that same board and say, hey, you can take the trip if you want to, but if you take the trip, and I think it was in the last part of the video, and you risk your own life, if you make it, we're going to deport you back. When their government of their country is asking us like, hey, these are our citizens, we understand, we can't do anything to help them right now, and we need you to keep them. I mean, what kind of country are we? Like, what have we come to? I mean, I wake up more flabbergasted every day. And as a black person in America, you would think that with everything that has happened, man, recently with Trayvon Martin, let's go back to Trayvon Martin, and even prior to them, right? But these are names we know of recently: Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, so many people, right? Where we've seen this and we've been out in the streets marching about this, and we've been out in the streets protesting this. Like, I hope that America doesn't think that just because it's not American citizens that our voice doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, that we're not gonna. Listen, we are. For those who are watching right now, for those who watch this video later, we go to our website, www.blackpush.org. We're starting a petition right now that we're going to send to the Congress, basically saying like, this is not okay.
Unacceptable. That's right.
And we're going to try to raise money for these refugees to try to help get them food, clothing, whatever we can do. Hire attorneys if we need to. Yeah. This is crazy. We have to do something. We can't sit silent on this because this is crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And, you know, maybe, just maybe, this is what making America great looks like in today's society when you hear that phrase. It's sad, but perhaps maybe the truth.
And I hope, and you know me, I'm very optimistic, right? I tend to try to think that there's more to us as a nation. But, you know, one of the things that I'm really adamant about is that, as people know, like, Black Push is real religious organization. We do believe in God, and nothing about that is going to change. I remember somebody asked Jesus, he said, you know, what's the greatest commandment of them all? Jesus said, of course, you should love thy God with all thy heart. But the second of these, he says, is love thy neighbor, what? That's thyself, right? I couldn't see this happening to my brother, my sister. To you, I couldn't see this happening. As much as me and Disco argue, I could see them doing this to Disco without being upset about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is the thing that irks me is that, you know, I try to ask myself what makes them so different. Because down in South Florida, where I'm from, there's actually a policy that says that if a Cuban touches ground or touches land, they're allowed to stay in America. If a Haitian touches land, they will literally get them right off the beach, and just on my line, take them right off the beach, directly from there back to the airport, not to the airport, to the immigration center, but on a plane back to Haiti, right? What makes them so different? Cuba, and I mentioned this earlier, Cuba is in a lot better of a situation than Haiti is, right? Yeah. I mean, and when I was in St. Lucia, Cuban doctors come from Cuba to St. Lucia to help St. Lucia as far as the eye doctor portion of it. Right. And if they can't visit them, they actually fly them from St. Lucia. Cuba does this on their own wallet. Fly them from St. Lucia to Cuba to give them surgery if they need it. Haiti can't do that. They don't have the finances for that. They don't have the government, the structure for that. Like, I don't know what it's going to take for America to realize that we're tired. And I think that we as a community, and I'm not just saying the black community, I'm talking about as a community of people, Americans, we all should be able to stand up and say, enough is enough. I mean, we need to deal with immigration. We need to deal with the dreamers that are here, that have been, who have been born and raised here. We need to deal with them. We need to figure out a way to make sure that this is, and we have people, and the Haitian culture, I know for a fact, man, I've been around Haitians all my life. They come here, they work hard. They bust their behind. It's very rare that you hear about them being locked up or anything like that. People are, not the ones who are Americanized, you know what I'm saying? But they come over here, they excel in our education system. They start their own businesses. They take jobs that we, as Americans, think that we're too good to take. You know what I'm saying? Like, they work hard. They pay taxes. They're good people. I mean, and what separates them from anybody else? What separates them, man? It's heartbreaking, man. And even that picture that we have with the kid and on the father, it looks like it was on the father's back or the mother's back, and they're walking through the water, man. Like, who are we?
Yeah, it's sad, man.
Who are we?
That image. Hey, we already know what kind of country that we live in, what kind of country, how it was founded, how it was built, on the backs of immigrants, on the back of slaves here in this country. We should not be surprised, but at the same time, I'm looking at those pictures and I'm appalled at what I see, because although I shouldn't be surprised, I still am surprised. And we are in 2021.
Yeah,
and,
man.
I'm still looking at something that might have taken place, over 100 some odd years ago.
But you know the crazy part about it? Is thank God for technology.
Well,
because all that means is that this has been going on for a long time. And now we're just able to see it a lot more in our face. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I can't even look at this and tell a person why. I don't have a why for you.
yeah.
I don't know. I can't say how we got here. I don't have a how for you.
Policy, both, on all levels. And that really does need to change when it comes to, and I'm not saying change the way you do things as far as immigration and how, but all I'm saying is, change, and you need to be clear across the board. It needs to be the same and implemented the same way across the board. If you're going to do only case by case, then let it only be case by case. But if you're going to say, oh, everyone gets the same policy treatment, then let that be the case.
Yeah.
But right now, it looks as if you're once again showing favoritism in who you are okay with allowing to come into this country.
So why do you, and I asked this question, very much carefully. Why do you think they're being treated, do you feel like they're being treated differently?
And this right here, this image, based on the image and the video I've seen, yeah, because you're not even putting them in cages. The Hispanic community came across the border illegally, but you at least put them in cages.
You gave them a day in court.
And gave them a day in court. You're not even giving these people that much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're still picking and choosing, and it's still, you're still not implementing policy across the board in the same manner. And that is very noticeable. This is not just a nationwide image that is being seen. This is being seen worldwide. And once again, America is on the hook. and being put on stage and will be scrutinized by the rest of the world as to how they choose to handle this situation. And once again, they've already started out in a very poor manner in doing so.
Yeah, and I'm to be honest with you, I'm over it. I'm over it, and I'm not going to sit back and say that this is okay. It's not okay. We're going to Black Push, Newbie Corp, we're going to stand with them. And I hope that we can get other people to stand on board with us. And just like, don't be silent about it. This is not nothing to be silent about. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, your silence indicates to the rest of the world that you're okay with it.
Okay with it. You know, there's a guy by the name of Dr. Vernon Jones, and he was the pastor. I think the name of the church was, I forgot the name of the church was in Alabama, Mississippi. And his last sermon he preached, he basically said, if you see a brother on the side of the street getting beat up by a white police officer, you're just as guilty as the police officer that beat him. If we see our brothers and sisters, whether you're white or black, being mistreated like this,
from
in front of us,
yeah.
then and be okay with it and be content with it, then we're just as guilty as the people. And I'm disappointed in the administration. I'm disappointed they don't have a plan for this. I'm disappointed that they are not. I mean, and I know that they say they're working on it, and I'm patient enough to give them time, but I'm not patient enough to continue to see people being mistreated.
What do you consider to be giving them time? Because remember, just the early part of this year, it took them less than 30 to 45 days for them to implement specific laws in dealing with the Asian community.
Yeah.
So we know which
they can do it.
We know it can be done because you did it then. So it's because it was done then. So if it takes if it takes more than 30 to 45 days, I'm going to be asking the question is, what's taking so long now? Because we already know that the wheels of justice can move fast.
And I'll just say this, they need to at least put together a plan. At least let us know what the plan is going to be. We should not be sending all these people back. We probably shouldn't be sending none of them back. These are not criminals. These are not people who are trying to legally come over here. They're not trying to smuggle drugs over here. They're running and they're fleeing for their life. And we as a nation, we got to get better. I mean, it's not enough to just kind of say, hey, and don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating saying, hey, we got to take in every country. America can't be the world's country, right? We're America. We have our population is only so big, and we can only do so much. But we have to be equal in the way we disperse justice, and we have to be equal in the way that we dispense mercy unto people. And it has to be even. It shouldn't be based on your skin complexion or where you come from. It should be based upon just the human rights aspect.
That's right. I agree.
So, I mean, we want to challenge people. If you're out there today, please go to our website, www.blackpush.org. We have a petition online that you can go ahead and sign, and we're going to be sending it to Congress and to the White House. We're trying to get 100,000 signatures at least. And if you can make a donation, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's $1. We're going to be working with other organizations to send that money and make sure that these Haitian refugees, as well as those who are currently in Haiti as well, that we're able to bless them in a certain kind of way. Yes. So we need your help, we need your support, and let's not stay silent on this, you guys. Let's ring the bells. Let's get now. We want to get what them things called, the microphone things they have, loudspeakers, whatever you want to call it.
That's right.
This is the time for us to be loud, and we need you to join in with us. So as we get ready to close out today, we want to remind everybody that we'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We have a very special guest. We have Sandra who will be here from the union tomorrow, so we'll be talking about labor. And we just want to continue to pray for those in Haiti, continue to pray for those who are on the border, continue to pray for those who are trying to find a better life for themselves. Because it's a reminder for me that sometimes as bad as we think we have it, this is really a reminder that there's people out there who live it way worse than us. And we got to be so grateful for the little things God gives us, you know what I'm saying? The little things, because at the end of the day, I don't know how it feels to have to flee from one country to the next and to try to protect my babies. They do, and that's the heartbreaking part about it. So, with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in today, and we'll see you guys again.